Dawn's tender spark. Have you ever caught that first flicker in your palms, like a secret ember waiting for your breath to coax it alive? It sparked for me one misty morning in my Portland cottage, back when I was 37, the Willamette's fog curling outside like the uncertainties I'd carried from a layoff that left my graphic design desk echoing empty. The house smelled of fresh scones from the oven, my ritual after dropping the kids at school, a small rebellion against the ache of resumes stacking like unread letters. I'd lie there on the worn quilt my mom pieced from old dresses, palms upturned to the ceiling fan's lazy spin, feeling the air kiss my skin as if whispering, "You're more than this moment's mess." Oh, sister, if you're here with the heart's whisper, maybe your spark's flickering too, perhaps from a high-rise window in Manhattan, watching taxis swarm like doubts, or a quiet porch in Savannah where Spanish moss drapes like forgotten dreams. What's one tiny light you've noticed in your hands lately? Share it in the comments below. Let's kindle this circle of quiet fires together, because I've walked those shadowed paths, post-divorce drives down the Pacific Coast Highway with the radio murmuring old Fleetwood Mac tunes about landsliding back to yourself. It wasn't some spa retreat in Sedona that lit me up. No, it was rawer, like the farmers' market Sundays where we'd haggle over heirloom tomatoes, women trading not just recipes, but the real stuff, hot flashes that hijack sleep, or the sting of a friend's silence during your unraveling. Picture it now, the way your fingers splay open, not grasping, but receiving, like catching fireflies at twilight block parties, those fleeting glows that remind you magic's still yours. For me, that dawn led to solo hikes in the Columbia Gorge, boots sinking into mossy trails as the waterfall's mist cooled the burn of what-ifs, teaching me the body's got its own pharmacy, bottled in breath and belief. We American women know this spark. It's in the book club brunches over mimosas, dissecting novels like The Vanishing Half that mirror our hidden halves, or the volunteer shifts at animal shelters where a stray's trusting nudge heals something deeper than fur. Mine grew in those early pottery classes, hands slick with clay-shaping mugs from mud, each curve a curve toward compassion, for the ex who faded like fog, for the career that cracked but didn't crush, and you, with your tender spark, maybe warming through winter wool in a Minneapolis cabin or blooming in a Phoenix patio. Let it flicker without force. I've seen it steady the storms, like steadying harmonies at church choirs, voices blending broken notes into beauty. As the sun pierced that Portland haze, gilding the evergreens like holiday lights on houseboats, my palms pulsed, not blinding, but beckoning. A gentle glow saying, "You've healed before. Trust the light you hold." So rest your hands open now, wherever you are, from your kitchen island in Austin or balcony in Baltimore. Feel the spark, soft as the solstice gatherings where we circle candles, flames feeding our forgotten fires. That's the whisper, isn't it? From the heart's hidden hearth, healing starts with simply seeing the light already lit within. Palms of forgotten warmth. Oh, the warmth in your palms when you least expect it, like sunlight pooling on a windowsill after a long gray spell. It pooled for me one autumn afternoon in my Chicago walk-up. 41, and the lake's wind-whipping doubts through the screen as I sorted through boxes of my late father's letters, each envelope a weight I'd postponed unpacking. The city buzzed below, horns from the magnificent mile, distant cheers from a Cubs game. But inside, my hands trembled, carrying the residue of caregiving years that left me wrung out like a dish rag after his hospice days. We'd gather then for those neighborhood stoop sets, folding chairs, scraping sidewalks as Polish grandmas swapped pierogi secrets laced with losses, their palms weathered but wise, pressing mine in that wordless way that says, "You've got this." If this warmth tugs at you, lean in. Tell me in the comments, what's a memory your hands hold on to? Your words weave our web here at the Heart's Whisper, From Windy City winters to Sunshine State sands. For me, it was a drive to the Indiana dunes, dunes rising like soft shoulders to cry on, where I pressed my palms to the warm sand, letting grains sift through fingers like sifting grief from grace. No therapist's couch, just the earth's quiet counsel, echoing the women's wellness walks in Grant Park, where we stride under oaks, breaths sinking to stories of scars turned stories. Mine, the empty nest ache when my daughter headed to college in Ann Arbor, her room a museum of half-read books and half-healed hugs. Picture your palms now, cupped like chalices at a backyard wedding, ready to receive not just rain, but radiance, the kind that turns boardroom battles into bedtime benedictions. It's that forgotten warmth we reclaim at craft fairs, needles threading quilts from quilted panes, or over virtual coffee clatches during lockdowns, screens glowing with galls admitting, I feel frayed but fabulous. Mine reclaimed in baking bread for block parties, dough rising under my touch like hope rising from hurt. Each need a nod to the self that survived. And you, palms pressing through perimenopause in a Denver duplex or parenting pulls in a Philly townhouse. Let the warmth well up without warrant. I felt it melt the frost of feuds, like melting marshmallows at campfire circles, sweetness sticking souls together. As Lake Michigan's waves whispered that eve, like they do before summer fireworks over Navy Pier, my hands held steady, not scorching, but soothing, a hearth for the healing I'd long deferred. So cup yours gently today, sister, from your loft in Los Angeles or lane in Louisville. The whisper warms. These hands have held you. Home. We're palm bearers all, from jazz joint jams to journal jottings, warmth weaving the wounds into wonders. Rivers of radiant flow. Ever feel a river start in your chest, flowing not from force, but from a full heart's quiet overflow? It flowed for me one spring evening in my Atlanta suburb, 47, the dogwoods blooming pink against the dusk, as I sat on the swing after a brutal performance review that questioned not just my sales quotas, but my spark, the one dimmed by years of yeses to everyone but me. The air hummed with crickets and distant grill smoke from the cul-de-sac barbecue, where neighbors would later swap sweet tea and sweeter secrets about second acts after 50. But there, alone with the creak of chains, I let my hands rest over my heart, feeling the current stir, like the Chattahoochee after rain, carrying silt but carving clean. We Southern sisters sense these rivers at gospel brunches, plates piled with fried chicken while choirs lift us on wings of witness, or in the hush of book drives for literacy circles, pages turning tides of our own turning points. What's a flow your heart's hinting at? Flow it free in the comments. Let's river this refuge, the heart's whisper, currents connecting Carolina coast to California coves. For me, it carried me to a solo road trip through the Smokies, curves hugging like old friends as the radio played Aretha demanding respect, for my reflection, for the radiance I'd rationed. It's the flow we foster at pottery potlucks, wheels whirring wishes into wares, or over wine tastings and vineyard vigils, glasses clinking confessions of careers collapsed, but creativity cresting. Mine crested in mentoring young entrepreneurs at the community center, their eyes lighting my own lost lights, hands guiding not just graphs, but graces. And you, with your radiant river, perhaps rushing through Reno ranches or rippling in Rhode Island row houses. Let it course without control. I've seen it cleanse canyons of critique, like cleansing rains at harvest festivals, earth drinking deep to bloom anew. Sense the stream now, that chest's cascade, alive as the line dances at county fairs, steps splashing joy. It's not torrent, it's trickle, the grace that gathers to glow. As Atlanta's skyline softened that night, like it does before peach cobbler Sundays, my heart hummed, not hurried, but healed, a river running toward renewal. So let yours meander today, from your veranda in Virginia or vestibule in Vermont. The whisper waves, This flow is your forever. We're river runners, from riverfront reviews to rain dance rituals, hearts hydrating the hidden hollows, seals of silent strength. A seal forms soft, like wax under a flame's patient kiss. It sealed in me one winter noon in my Seattle greenhouse nook. 53, the evergreens outside bowed under snow as I nursed a sprained ankle from a clumsy slip on icy stairs, mirroring the slip of confidence after my gallery show flopped. Canvases critiqued like my courage. The space smelled of damp soil and chamomile tea, a sanctuary I'd carved from the garage for those stolen hours of sketching what words wouldn't. We'd bundle then for hot cocoa huddles at the local co-op, mugs steaming as artists aired aches over almond croissants, palms pressing sketch pads like pressing pauses on panic. If a seal's stirring in you, seal it with a story below. What's one strength you've softly stamped? Your seal strengthens ours at the heart's whisper, from Puget Sound, mist to prairie prairies. For me, it's stamped during a ferry ride to Bainbridge, waves rocking resolve as I traced affirmations in the fogged window. I am enough, etched like frost art. It's the strength we stamp at empowerment expos, booths buzzing with badges of bravery, or in sewing circles stitching samplers from sorrow's scraps. Mine stitched in leading art therapy groups for cancer survivors, brushes bridging our breaks, each stroke a seal on survival, and you sealing silent strengths, maybe amid Miami monsoons or Madison meadows. Let it set without strain. I've watched it solidify shadows, like solidifying syrup at pancake socials, sweetness sealing seams. Feel the fold now that hearts hush, firm as the folk dances at cultural fests, feet finding footing. It's not lock, it's liberation, the quiet close that opens worlds. As snow hushed the harbor that day, like it does before spring symphony, my seal shone, not stark, but sacred, a stamp for the self I'd rediscover. So press yours tenderly, from your eyrie in Anchorage or atrium in Asheville. The whisper imprints, this seal is your sanctuary. We're strength stampers, from stampedes to story slams, hearts holding the holy hush, echoes of earned ease. Ease echoes like a sigh after a long-held breath, rippling through the body like wind through wheat fields. It echoed for me one harvest dusk in my Kansas farmhouse, 59, the amber waves swaying as I rocked on the glider, joints creaking from years of teaching third graders, while tending the family plot after my husband's heart scare left us both learning lean in love. The air carried corn silk and comfort. A balm after the school board's budget cuts clipped my classroom dreams. We'd rally then for county fair quilts, needles knotting over patterns pieced from patches of plenty and pinch, women whispering wisdoms that wove us whole. What's an ease echoing in your echoes? Echo it back in the comments. Let's resonate this realm, the heart's whisper, from heartland hearths to harbor havens. For me, it resonated on a quilt trail tour through the Flint Hills, fabrics fluttering like flags of fortitude, each square a square of surrender to what's softened. It's the ease we earn at elder wisdom workshops, chairs circling stories like seasons, or over potluck prayers, forks forking forgiveness. Mine forked in gardening guilds, hands in loam loosening not just soil but souls, blooms bursting from buried blues, and you earning echoes, perhaps easing through Eugene evergreens or embracing in El Paso edges. Let it linger without labor. I've heard it harmonize hurts, like harmonizing hymns at revival tents, voices veiling voids. Hear the hush now that body's balm, buoyant as the barn dances at autumn almanacs, twirls turning trials. It's not idleness, it's invitation, the rest that restores radiance. As stars prick the prairie sky that eve, like they do before dawn's duet, my ease enveloped, not evasive, but embracing, an echo of endurance. So sigh into yours today, sister, from your silo in Sioux Falls or Sweet in San Francisco. The whisper resounds, this ease is your essence. We're echo embracers, from echo chambers of empathy to evening evensongs, bodies blooming in borrowed breaths, bridges of believed brilliance. Bridges build from belief, arching over aches like rainbows after thunder. They bridged for me one monsoon morning in my Phoenix casita, 62. The saguaro shadows stretching long as I journaled through the flood of fibromyalgia flares that felled my freelance writing gigs, words once winged, now weighted by weariness. The desert bloomed defiant outside, poppies popping color from cracked clay, a nod to the neighborhood cacti club where we'd prune and prattle over prickly pear tea, thorns teaching tenderness. If a bridge beckons, build it brief below. What's a brilliance you've begun to believe? Your bridge bolsters ours at the heart's whisper, from desert dawns to delta dusks. For me, it bolted during a hot air balloon ascent over the Sonoran, basket swaying as views vasten my vantage, belief ballooning beyond bodily bounds. It's the brilliance we bridge at bridging retreats, yoga mats mating midair poses with midlife musings, or in memoir meetups, pages paving paths from pain. Mine paved in podcasting personal tales, mic capturing convictions that connected callers in kindred kismet. And you, bridging believed, maybe over Boston bridges or bending in Boise bends. Let it span without span. I've seen it span schisms, like spanning strings at symphony soirees, notes knitting narratives. Span the span now, that spirit span, soaring as the star parties in state parks, scopes citing symmetries. It's not leap, it's link, the faith that forges futures. As monsoons misted that morn, like they do before monsoon markets, my bridge beamed, not burdensome, but buoyant, a brilliance believed into being. So step onto yours, from your yurt in Yellowstone or yard in Yonkers. The whisper wins, this bridge is your beacon. We're brilliance builders, from bridge burns to ballad bridges, beliefs binding the boundless, whispers of wholehearted. Welcome. A welcome warms like hearth fire on a chill eve, drawing the weary whole. It warmed for me one solstice night in my Maine lobster shack, 65, the bay's black ink-lapping logs as I mended nets after the season's slump shuttered my guiding business, tides turning tables on the tours I'd treasured. The salt air stung sweet, mingled with chowder simmering for the clam bake crew, where lobstermen's wives wove wreaths of rye welcomes over whoopie pies. What's a welcome whispering to your hole? Welcome it warmly in the comments. Let's welcome this world. The heart's whisper, from wharf whispers to woodland welcomes. For me, it welcomed during a whale watch vigil, spouting serendipity as cetacean song schooled my solitude into symphony. It's the wholeheartedness we welcome at wholeness weaves, looms looping legacies of love, or over oyster hours, shells shucking shames, minds shucked in seaside storytelling circles, voices voyaging vulnerabilities into voyages, and you welcoming holes, perhaps in Wichita winds or Waikiki waves. Let it enfold without end. I've felt it fold fractures like folding flags at flag ceremonies, honors healing histories. Fold the fold now that soul summons, sacred as the sacred circles at sweat lodges, steam-stirring spirits. It's not arrival. It's abiding, the home that holds all hues. As auroras arc that Arctic night, like they do before equinox embraces, my welcome wrapped, not waning, but waxing, a wholehearted haven. So open to yours today, sister, from your wharf in Wilmington or Willow in Wichita. The whisper woos, you're wholly welcome here. We're welcome weavers, from welcome wagons to wonder walks, hearts hailing the healing horizon, glows of grateful grace. Grace glows like afterglow on a grateful gaze, lingering long after the light. It lingered for me one Thanksgiving twilight in my Texas Ranch Rambler 68, the mesquite smoke curling from the pit as family faces framed the feast. But inside, the glow grappled with grief's ghost from my sister's swift passing, her chair empty amid the turkey and tails. The plains stretched golden, a canvas for the gratitude journals we'd started at the Women's Ag Co-op, pens pressing praises from parched plots. If grace glows in you, glow it golden below. What's a grateful grace gracing your days? Your glow gilds our gallery at the heart's whisper, from gulf glows to glacial graces. For me, it gilded a gratitude gallop through the Palo Duro, canyons cradling confessions as hooves healed haste. It's the grace we grace at Grace Notes gatherings, harps hinting harmonies of hallelujahs, or over gumbo gab fests, spoon-stirring sanctuaries. Mine stirred in grandbaby giggles at rodeo ringsides, tiny hands tugging triumphs from trials. And you, glowing graces, perhaps grazing in Georgia groves or glimmering in glacier gaps. Let it gleam without guile. I've glimpsed it gleam gaps, like gleaming geodes at gym shows, facets flashing forgiveness. Gleam the gleam now, that life's luster, luminous as the luminarias at Las Posadas, lanterns lighting legacies. It's not gloss, it's groundswell, the thanks that transforms. As stars studded the step that supper, like they do before Yule yarns, my grace gathered, not grasping, but gracious, a glow for generations. So bask in yours, from your bungalow in Boise or bayou in Baton Rouge. The whisper wanes sweetly, in grace, you're glowing gold. And with that, a peace, petals open, not pressed, but profound. You're the light, the love, the lasting legacy of your own healing heart.